medical scholar, but I studied his Islamic mysticism, and he is an expert on almost everything, right? Unfortunately, you are right. Second point that you mentioned, that right now, when it comes to a transdisciplinary approach, it is developed well in the West, not in our country, not in Indonesia. I would say that the biggest problem for all of us, our educational system does not accommodate a transnational, a transdisciplinary approach. Our education is on the basis of monodiscipline. Our promotion is based on linearity. So, in my opinion, I'm glad that your institution, EIN, when EIN is doing this workshop, seminar, international seminar on on a transdisciplinary approach to the production of Islamic knowledge. Otherwise, we are going to be so much behind because our educational system fails us. It doesn't accommodate the kind of approaches that we are hoping to accomplish. In the U.S., where I teach, we are approaching questions from so many different perspectives. And we are also growing as a teacher. I came to teach Intro to Islam, Sufism, and many basic courses on Islam, gender and Islam. But now I'm developing new areas, for instance, Islam and environment, Islam and material culture, Islam and medical ethics. The reason why I'm able to do that because the place where I work develops the culture of thinking, the culture of learning, as Dr. Gamal said earlier. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Prof. Etin has covered all the questions for her, yeah?
Yeah, okay. Thank you, bro.
Okay, now we're going to give chance to Professor Gamal Zakaria.
Okay. Yeah, please come again, the question.
Okay. The question, and I'll read like some questions for you.
Yeah.
In today's millennial era, what is often experienced is social inequality, like social inequality, social gap, like between the rich and the poor, who are increasingly visible now, especially now that the perpetrators of consumptive life are increasingly rampant. What I want to ask is, how is this transdisciplinary in Islamic thinking culture in fixing the problem? So the social inequality.
Okay. Thank you for the question. Yeah. That we know already that we are living now in the modern society in the 21st century, and then the social media we are learning about that is very, very different, our life. Yeah, sometime when we look into the current situation in the especially in the Muslim world or in Southeast Asia, that we welcome that the social media, can help the people, the nation to solve the problem. But this is also but this is depending on the government. The government, how the government, that we call it, accommodate, perceive that the changing. So we can see that the new millennium, we call that new millennial generation is also to benefit, to the benefit of the technology and online technology, to make gap the poverty on the equality, between rich and the poor. And but as we know that the with the current situation, the online, so now we open new, new job. Yeah. We do not need go to the office. We do not need to the shop, but as we can do it the online, the online, so we can to improve, our expanding, yeah, expandation and so on. So again, I want to, to say that we welcome the development right now. Actually, it is beyond, beyond our expectation. I always said that poorly that we are as a Muslim, we are always on the behind. So we are always as a follower, not a pioneer. So as a follower, we have to follow what happening, what going now. So I'm sure for the new generation, millennial generation, you have to take the opportunity and the chance to improve, to enhance yourself with by taking the chances and the opportunities. That's all from me.
Thank you, Prof. Gamal, for the questions. I hope it will answer the question, ya.
Okay.
Okay,
Mbak. Yeah.
Should I repeat the question, sir? Like you got a lot.
Okay, I get it. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you unmute me, so I could not actually speak up. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's a problem. I tried. I'll contact you. Okay, no problem. Okay. By the way, Professor Etin has already answered one of the questions that addressed to me, and also Professor Gamal Abdel Nasser, of course, has elaborated quite significantly. And now the leftover question that I would like to answer is, how is it possible that the sender is not quite dominant in person's receiver, for example? This is very congruent with the explanation of Professor Etienne and Dr. Professor Gamal Abdel Nasser before that. Actually, it is very important to have personal creativity, yeah, personal thought, a deep thinking. Yeah, this is very important because only once you do that and you can actually get something from what you have read. Yeah. In the Quran, it is said, for example, that Ar-Rahmanu allama al-Quran, allamahu al-bayan. Yeah. God has already revealed the Quran, then also God has already given to us the way to explain. Yeah. And also meaning is actually is personal creativity. Yeah. Even if you have a lot of things in front of you from the social media, but if you cannot understand what is sent to you, what is delivered to you, that means that there is no knowledge, there is no information. So information actually is created inside your heart, yeah, inside your mind. It is not from outside. That's why you have to read. You have to make sense out of something that you are looking at, you are listening to, you are reading. Because otherwise, just kind of whispering, just a kind of passing through from your one ear to another. So personal realization, yeah, personal awareness is very much emphasized in this regard in order to get something. Yeah. When you are nodding, if you heard someone is talking or someone write something and then you read it, and then you can only nod if you do understand something. Yeah. Kalian kita itu bisa mengangguk ya apabila kita memahami sesuatu. Ya. Kalau tidak itu akan lewat begitu saja. Begitu juga hal-hal yang lain ya, apa yang kita lihat kalau kita berjalan itu kan banyak sekali yang terlihat, tapi kan tidak bisa kita ingat, tidak bisa kita sadari. Jadi kuncinya sebetulnya adalah kesadaran diri itu. Ya. Nah, inilah yang ditekankan dalam Al-Quran. Banyak sekali dalam Al-Quran penjelasan tentang ini. Ya. Umpamanya, afatatma'una yu'minu lakum wa qad kana fariqam minkum yasma'una kalamallah thumma yuharrifunahu bima akalu. Jadi you can hear something but you can actually modify the message because you don't agree. You disagree with the message sent by someone else. So the media in front of you is just facilitating information, but only the thing that you can understand, it is considered as information to you, is considered as a message. So make sure that you are actually in control of the message in front of you. You are not controlled or defined, guided by the message and the media in front of you. Have to be able to contradict. And that's why in the Quran it is said that iza ja'akum fasiqun binaba'in fatabayyanu, ya, antusibu qauman bijahalatin fatusbihu ala ma fa'altum nadimin. If there's a news coming to you, have to be able to cross check, to verify, yeah. In case you are becoming someone who is actually thinking of bad things, yeah, you are determined by the speaker. That's why you need to be able to be active in this case. Yeah. Okay, that's all my question. You can see some of my writers' articles about this. And if someone needs, we can send you to your address. Okay, no problem. Okay, that's it. Maybe the more questions, I'm ready to take it. Yeah, and explain if I know how to answer. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, I still have questions. As we know, in Indonesia, social media users reach a high level, but half of social media users take advantage of their freedom space from the negative side, such as creating a challenge muknah anfaedah. My question is this a moral crisis? If so, what is the function of social institution with the state in overcoming this? Can you hear me, sir? Can you hear me, Prof? Hello, Prof. Prof Faisal?
Yeah, bye.
Oh.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear.
Oh, okay. Should I repeat the question?
Oh, okay. It was for me. Okay, I thought it wasn't for me.
Oh,
okay.
it was. It's for you. So it's about the social media users, and then it's see us about freedom space. So many people take advantage of their freedom space from a negative side, such as creating a challenge, muknah anfaedah. The question is this a moral crisis? If so, what is the function of social institution to overcome this?
Okay, it is. We can consider it is a social crisis if you are controlled by the message, if you are controlled by the media. So it is important to have this social and religious institution, in fact, cultural institution, to be able to educate the members of the community, the members of the family. So informal education and formal education, as well as non-formal education, remain important in this case. So you have to, as a mother, as a father, as parents, be able to teach, educate your kids, your children at home, and transfer the values, the family values, religious values, cultural values, local values, traditional values. And of course, this has to be hand in hand also in the formal education from kindergarten to primary, secondary, university levels in order to be able to establish the values that need to be delivered to the people. Because in terms of education, formal education, we still can kind of enforcing, education, the values that you would like to deliver to the kids. But once you are as an adult, this is already very hard because we say in Malay expression, kecil terbawa-bawa, ya, kecil teranjak-anjak, besar terbawa-bawa, ya. Ala bisa karena biasa, ya. So students actually or anyone should always be realizing, is this actually important or good or bad to us? We actually have in our mind the whisper of God in our heart. If you want to do something, you always ask, is it good or not? And then actually the nur, the haqiqah, the ma'rifatullah, the inspiration from God is inside your heart, telling you that this is bad, this is good. So this is very important to know. And then incredible, God has facilitated us with this. And this is actually recorded. So not only these devices can record us, but actually also our heart, has recorded all the sayings, all the activities, including all the intentions that you have intended to do. So you have your own prescription in yourself. And then now we have the Quran, we have the Hadith, we have cultural values like in Kendari, I'm sure, you know, the Bugis there, the Tolaki there, the Mekonga over there, the Muna, the Raha people, they all have traditional cultural values rooted in the society, which are actually also very, very good. This has to be maintained, this has to be kept all the time in order to be able to become good, exemplified human beings, Muslims at the same time. Okay, that's Dewi Atika. Back to you.
Okay, thank you, Prof. And now we move to the questions for Prof. Epin. Like we still have questions for you, Prof, about how we could, or the best practice in USA. Let me read the full question. How would we act? Would we act to the research-based society in COVID era? Please give the best practice in USA, university and social community.
Do you mind to repeat your question again?
Okay. The question is, how would we act? How would we make the research-based society in COVID era? Please give the example of best practice in USA.
Yeah. Thank you. Sorry. I think that is a very, very difficult question, because with social distancing, we couldn't really do research the way we used to do it. And I think, you know, COVID-19 demands us to change. It could also mean that we need to change in terms of conducting research. In my opinion, nowadays you could do survey, and the survey could be distributed to specific audiences. And by doing so, you are still doing community research based, but at the same time, you play safe, right? So we need to change the way we conduct research. We need to change the way we gather information, we gather the data. And at the same time, we could change the way we analyze the data by using a transdisciplinary approach. I also saw a question earlier about now I forget. Islam, a transdisciplinary Islamic approach, or Islamic transdisciplinary approach. Honestly, I mean, we don't need to always, specify by saying the Islamization of transdisciplinary approach. We don't need to do something like that, because if we are trying to be honest with ourselves, Islamic studies falls into the category of humanities, and that is the area where where Islamic studies could be used as an approach. At the same time, Islamic studies could be part of a transdisciplinary approach depending on the question. So, as a researcher, we start with question. What is your question? And then we can think about the answer from Islamic studies perspective, from sociological perspective, from health science perspective, from any perspective. But it starts with a good question, good research question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Prof. So we still have time, and then we still have some questions to Professor Andi Faisal Bakti, but I don't think he's here. Okay, then we can move on to the general question. It's actually for all the speakers, like how to move a thinking dichotomic model and exclusive model to integrative model and transdisciplinary model. How to move like a thinking monodisciplinary to more integrative and transdisciplinary model. Maybe all the speakers, Prof. Etin, Prof. Gamal, and also Prof. Faisal can give like comment on this question. And I can say maybe this is the last question. Maybe to Prof. Gamal first. Hello, sir. Is he here? Oh, then I can start with Professor Andi Faisal Bakti.
What was the question? Yeah.
Yeah, the question is it's a bit general for all the speakers. How to move a thinking dichotomic model and exclusive model to more integrative and transdisciplinary.
Okay. Of course, first of all, you have to read a lot. Yeah. You have to read a lot, different ideas, different perspectives. Yeah. That's why once we write as a student, also Professor Etin just mentioned that we have to have research questions. Even this one, we have one major research question, and then we have to break down into several minor questions in order to guide you to your research. And then you can determine your methodology, your theoretical frameworks, and of course, the data collections and the data analysis is very important. Let's say, for example, you discuss about this dichotomy, you discuss about these different ideas. Of course, by reading all references or many references, and then you can determine, oh, these are the similarities, these are the differences, why they are different, why they are similar, and then you can draw a conclusion, and then it becomes yours. It becomes your heritage. It becomes your legacy. Actually, that belongs to you. And then you can say that this, according to this, according to this, according to this, and then you have your own reflection. So it is important to have a reflection. In this case, you are able to see actually the usage, the values of these many ideas of one, for example, one question or one problems that you would like to solve. So in that case, that's why philosopher and then thinker or scholars, normally they are tolerant. Normally they are very understanding. Yeah, because they also know the whole consideration. For example, we have 4 school of law, yeah, in Sunni tradition. We have Hanbali, Maliki, Hanafi, and Shafi'i, for example. If you know the differences of the opinion of this, each of this school of thought, and then you can understand that, oh, only one verse, for example, of the Quran or one hadith, and becomes at least 4 opinions. And then these great people, they all have very strong and solid argument. So it's up to you. Okay. The same thing in Shiite tradition. They also have 4 big major school of thought, yeah, in terms of law. The same thing. Could be the same as Sunni, could be also other new opinions, other ideas. Yeah. But if you don't have this perspective, you become a dichotomic person. You see things black and white only, and then you tend to reject. Yeah. Shia is dangerous, or Sunni is dangerous, Ahmadiyya is dangerous, or Westerners are dangerous, liberals, etc., etc. We tend to do that because we have a lack of references. We have lack of analysis. Okay, so brothers and sisters, in Kendari in particular, or wherever we are, either you are in Indonesia or you are outside of Indonesia, like Professor 18, we are thankful to God that one of our colleagues, yeah, this is specifically graduated from EIEN also, yeah, from Bandung, yeah, and now becomes a professor in the United States of America. She was our colleagues, yeah, and also Professor Gamal Abdul Nasser from Brunei Darussalam, but actually originally from Riau. He also my colleague back in 1990. Yeah, let's say 30 years ago. We know each other. We haven't met until this application, this seminar united us. And that means that we can change, yeah. We can change. The Kendari people, students of EIN Kendari, can also go and study abroad, yeah. You can develop yourself. You have to struggle to really pass the exams, at least the English, for example, exam, yeah. You have to reach a certain level of TOEFL scores, for example, and then you are able to continue your studies. You can change, ya, and pasti bisa. Oke, kita bisa, semua bisa. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
So now we move to Prof. Etin to give comment on, like, yeah, maybe it can be a closing statement as well.
Thank you very much for the question. I think it is very, very important. I'm going to repeat again. It is very, very important that you have a good research question within the context of studying and researching. Secondly, you have to think comparatively. If you are able to think comparatively, I'm sure that you would be able to do a transdisciplinary research. If you are not able to think comparatively, then like what Professor Andy said earlier, Bang Faisal said earlier, we can learn, we can change. So from this point onward, you just have to think comparatively. If you are trying to answer one thing, try to think from 2 perspectives. Of course, the better way is to study a different subject than what you are studying right now. And I think we have, a lot of here, a lot of audiences who are in power to change the curriculum. In my opinion, the Islamic institution has to go through a curriculum change in order to train students to think comparatively, to think in terms of uh, developing critical thinking, because at this point it's a bit typical when you are trying to study only one thing based on the major or the discipline itself. So monodiscipline is not a solution at this point. We need an interdisciplinary discipline. We need a transnational discipline, transdisciplinary, transdisciplinary. So I think that's very, very important. And I believe, like what Bang Faisal said earlier, we could start, by doing like what you are doing right now, getting activities through through a transnational approach. Uh, Transdisciplinary approach. Why did I say transnational approach? Transdisciplinary approach, and maybe the next step also, it would include research, emphasizing a transdisciplinary approach. Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to seeing you all in America, hopefully one day. Thank you.
Amin.
Thank you, Prof. So the last one, we are going to hear a comment from Professor Gamal.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
I'm sorry, I cannot show my face because now I am driving to to pick up my kids.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah, you can hear me.
Yeah. We could
Yeah,
hear you
okay.
clearly.
So again, I appreciate the effort of the IAIN Kendari, to hold these international seminars, and also I want to say that my friend, my colleague Andy Faisal said, we are also from the IAIN. I am from the IAIN Pekanbaru Riau, and we met together at the Semarang. Meaning, if you can develop yourself, from whatever your institution you come, but the important thing, you have to change yourself and look into the future. And inshallah, and the seminars, the international seminar, will open your opinion, your thought, your views, to look at the world more with peace, and then, and again, I said that you have to understand, you have to master, and you expert in your area. If, for example, you are expert in Islamic education, you have to concern, you have to do that, constantly and instantly. And the one more thing is that I said in my previous presentation, you have to, respect, and honor the others, the others' opinion, and also the tolerance among us. It is very important, and also actually so many things we can discuss. The question, for example, the question about the dichotomy. Actually, when we look into the Islamic history, when the Islam achieved the golden age, actually there is no dichotomy knowledge in Islam. So, but this is a very long discussion, and I still remember that my institution, International Islamic University Malaysia, still keeping going on the Islamization of knowledge, and in social, and also in accounting and psychology, and also in the economic. So hopefully, the student, especially the student, and also the professors and lecturers in the university in Indonesia, more openness and also they communicate to the student. And also, inshallah, we meet again in other occasion and program, inshallah. And also thank you to the IAIN Kendari and my friend, my colleague, Professor Andi Faisal and
Yes.
Professor Edin.
Happy to see you, friend.
Yeah,
We miss
yeah,
you.
yeah. Inshallah,
Please
we
come
meet
to
again.
Jakarta.
Yeah, to Jakarta.
Again to
on
invite you.
Friday,
Please
inshallah.
send us your number. Yeah.
Yes, inshallah. Thank
Yeah,
you.
inshallah.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So it seems like, you know, the transdisciplinary issue becomes very trending right now, and like a lot of things to discuss in this topic. So I would like to say thank you very much for all the presenters today. Thank you for your meaningful and really insightful presentation today. And then we do hope to see you like again another cooperation in the future. I hope so. And we also thank you for the participants and then the parallel session presenters who stay here until the end. And we are sorry, some questions maybe cannot be answered, but if you could try to reach the presenter, I say previously, right? They are the famous person if you try to type their name on Google, and then you'll try to find a lot of information related to them. So you could try to reach them personally, like maybe send email. Boleh ya, Prof?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can get their email and then try to send questions if you're still curious about the topic today. So that's the end of the plenary session 3 for the International Conference Transdisciplinary Paradigm on Islamic Knowledge 2020. And then I hereby close this plenary session by saying wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Prof.
Ya, sama. Ya.
Udah
Luar biasa
contribute.
Dewi Atika ini. Kuliah di mana, Dewi?
Bahasa Inggris, tapi sudah
Di mana? Bahasa Inggris di mana? Di Kendari, IAIN Kendari.
Saya dosen Pak di IAIN Kendari.
Ya, maksudnya alumni di UIN, IAIN Kendari sebelumnya.
Bukan. Alumninya di Halo Oleo, S1, S2-nya di UK.
Oke, mantap ya. Nanti S3 lagi secepatnya ya. Ke Jakarta aja, kakak tahu Ibu Profesor Etin itu, Profesor Gamal bisa ya.
Iya, boleh.
Salam Ibu Rektor, ada nggak Profesor Faizah? Itu juga kawanku tuh ya. Tadi ada.
Sekarang kayaknya sudah.
Ya salam ya. Salam
Saya
kepada
sampaikan
Ibu
Prof,
Rektor.
terima kasih banyak hari ini.
Ya.
So to all the participants, don't forget to fill the attendance list, and then you can download the material, the presentation from all the presenters today. Like the host has sent you the link on the chat box. So I hand over the event to the host. Oh, one more announcement. I'm sorry. So we still have plenary session